Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast. And today we're continuing our discussion on how to build a successful baseball high school program. I threw it all in there with Coach Tony Perkins from Francis Howell High School. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great. Here we go.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we got our first two segments. So now the season begins, right? And before the season begins, we got to give a shout out to our fellows at Game 7 Baseball. Game7baseball.com. You like how I did that?
Yeah, you rolled right into it.
That was pretty good. Get your team registered. Season's coming up. A lot of fun stuff going on. From Tennessee to Kentucky to Missouri to Illinois, Game 7 Baseball has tournaments all over the place. Go down to Branson, Ballparks of America, nice place down there. I love that. That's good. Got venues over in Illinois. Kentucky, great venue down in Kentucky. Tennessee, around the Nashville area. You can just take a little vacation and hop to each one of those sites and play some ball every weekend, right?
Yep. See some good ball.
Absolutely. So game7baseball.com, get your team registered. All right. So we're in season. And, you've gotten through your tryouts. You got your team assembled.
Yeah. Now you got to get to work.
Now you got to get to work.
That first week, we cut the team.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get too much into the nuts and bolts of it but that second Monday, we got to go. We got stuff that we got to cover. We got to get in. We got to do our bunt rotations. We got to get our situations. We got to make sure rundowns are good. Make sure our cut situations are everywhere where they're supposed to be. And really there's a focus every day. Mm-hmm. So essentially you got 12.
Yeah, from when your first cuts or your last cuts to your first game.
It's probably 6, 7, 9 practices.
Wow.
9 or 10 practices. And then so you got to do it. Even if it's raining, you got to figure out how to do inside. If you can get into the gym, you got to get in the gym, But we've been fortunate with the weather. We've not been able to have to go inside too much, which is great. Because you can get on the field and get some stuff done. When you got 3 teams, it's hard, But varsity stays on our field most all the time, and the freshmen and sophomores, they kind of share. But yeah, it's
always.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is.
It
right?
has to be.
Yeah,
it has to be.
That's just the way it is.
But yeah, we really concentrate on. There's so much stuff you got to get in, and then once you get it in, even your signs and signals, that takes a little bit time, and then I don't call a bunch of pitches, but I have to have that system in. That's where a classroom sometime comes into play. I mean, we do have a rain day, we can still get something accomplished because we can get into the classroom and start doing the signs and signals, and then working with the catchers and working with the pitchers on their sign signals, pickoffs. Where there's signs and signals for all that stuff. It's got to be in. So the hardest part about that is you get in the classroom, you talk about it. Just like any classroom with a kid, you don't know if they're going to retain it very well. Mm-hmm. So when you get on the field, then you got to repeat and hammer it.
So you actually set up that classroom situation with the kids. You're not out on the field going, okay, this is our signs and this. No. You're in the classroom sitting there talking them through this. Yeah,
we'll go to Coach Sissel's room, and he's got a power, computer, and we'll put it up on the screen, and I'll send him the stuff, and he'll pull it up, and we'll go through it and try and keep him awake.
Well, but that's the right approach, because it's basically a meeting, and in collegiate athletics and whatnot, you're always got the meetings in that space, and it kind of prepares the kids for what they're looking for. This is important, and if you're not prepared mentally,
Yeah, I'll stand up in front of the classroom and I'll go through the signs and I'll just say, "Hey, Will, what do you got? Bunt, good,
right?"
And so now they're paying attention because I've called them out.
So they kind of have and this goes back to expectation and setting an expectation on the player to know the philosophy, the idea of the game plan as you guys go into the season, correct?
Yeah. I mean, they've got to be able to execute those things. They don't. I have bonehead thing is what I call it. If you miss a sign or you do a stupid base running error or you make a really stupid throw or something like that, it's 2 pulls. They run and they know it. In practice, they'll just take off and start running.
Get it done.
Yep.
I don't think and I think that's a great point in all of this, and it's been something throughout the segments we've been talking so far, is setting the expectation. And if a player is willing to accept that, then they understand, you know what, this is what coach expects of me. If I didn't do it, he said, I got to run polls. I just go get it done.
Yeah, they have to have ownership of it, and you've got to be right. I mean, you got to play the game the right way, and that's what we're striving for, and play it as hard as we possibly can. If a guy's, I'll time him going on and off the field. If it's not, an X amount of time, I'm not happy, we'll keep doing it. And that's the right fielder gets upset.
I like this one here, because you say your practice is your game, or the practice is yours, game is theirs. Mm-hmm. And I like the thought process of putting him in difficult situations. What is that thought process about?
Well, I mean, I practice is mine. I mean, and the coaches. I mean, you really hammer them, and I'll get on them hard in practice. Coach just told me this years ago. He goes, people always ask why we were better than others, and he says it's because we experience everything in practice that comes up in a game, mm-hmm. and we keep doing that. But in a game, you're not going to see me rail a kid. I mean,
I haven't.
I'm not going to get in a kid's face if he screwed up or he struck out. I might be disgusted if he swings and misses on third. I just swing the bat. Yeah, let's just go. We're not going to take strike three today, boys. We're not taking strike three today. Let's put the ball in play. Do something. But I've put him in those difficult situations, and there's always consequences. If we do a scrimmage type situation, we're concentrating on bunt rotations that day. Who wins? Okay, the other team has to pick up equipment or put stuff away, or I'll come up with something.
I've always said this. I believe this very much. I know it's kind of maybe a harsh term. Justin's probably heard this a few times, but I've always told kids in these situations, and it's true of anything you do. If you don't execute, you will be executed.
You can't lose.
Because it costs, it does cost. There's being able to execute in that moment mm-hmm. is critical to your success. I've always believed this, Coach. Nobody's guaranteed to win. Nobody guarantees a win. But if you're prepared mentally and physically, I can guarantee an opportunity. And I think that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, just try to put them in a place where they can win. I mean, that's what the practice is all about. I mean, you got to get into them and stop. I mean, in the middle of practice, I was timeout.
Right.
All right, everybody in. So I really got their attention.
Right.
This is what's going on. This is not right. Mm-hmm. And we can't be successful if we got one or two guys not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got to be on the same page. And if we're all together, okay, we're going to be good. Get back out there. Let's go.
Right. I think that's key, because I think there's such thing as a mental focus and physical focus. Physical focus is determined by how hard you work. And I think you set that understanding in our last segment. When they come in, if they can't run 1.75 miles without stopping, they're not physically focused in their body to come into this situation. So if they're not mentally focused in the same way, if they're not mentally prepared to come in and execute the opportunities as a baseball player, it's the same thing. So mental and physical focus go hand in hand, because, as I like to say, the body follows the mind. Mm-hmm. And so these are all things, I think, when I look at this, Coach, and I see, practice is yours, game is theirs, that's that thought process, because mm-hmm. I'm preparing your mind, your physicality to do the things that are necessary to give you the opportunity to win.
Yeah, we're doing a lot more with the mental side of it. Mr. Sean Irwin, our AD, put it out there, and Coach Sissel got some kind of mental certification. Brian Kane's the biggest guy out there right now. As far as he'll probably be up to ABCA in Chicago here in a few weeks. But I'll go check him out, because the mental side is it's important. We have to teach, and we have to talk to kids about what to say, what not to say. if a shortstop's yelling at a pitcher who's struggling, not throwing strikes, says, "Come on, throw strikes," that's not what you should say.
Right.
I mean, you're putting them in a negative place. If we need to teach them what to say, and here's a tough one, you have to talk to the parents about what to say.
I agree.
And I'm going to do that this year.
I don't blame you.
You know, I was like, come on, you got to make that play. It's like, you think he didn't want to make that play? Yeah.
Right.
Everybody here wants you to play, but hey, man, just get the next one. Let's go. Get your head up. Let's go. Let's be positive. Let's get after it.
And I love that thought process, because I think if we do that, no, I don't want to throw a strike. Right. And I've done it. I've been guilty of this. You're young. Hey, throw a strike. Yeah. Working on that, coach. Let's not state the obvious.
Yeah.
But what have you done, and what are we doing to prepare them for that mental toughness, that, as we call it, that mental focus, that they understand this, they know this. So how do we get the most out of them? And I think that's a very important thing as a coach, right?
Right. Coach Sissel's at my house yesterday, like I mentioned, but he went to this Brian Kane thing. He has like a little graph kind of a thing, and it's like 200 numbers. You got to put them in numerical order. So during the classroom, while he's doing this, he's turning the lights on and off. He's bouncing the basketball. He's throwing stuff around. He's just trying to distract them as much as he possibly can. I thought that was great.
That's interesting.
Some guys just stop and just
they can't
handle. They can't concentrate. So that's what you need to know about these guys. Can they concentrate? Got to deal with it. It's a game of pressure.
Too much noise outside, right? Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I love that stuff. And last thing we'll deal with here, game situations. You've got a lot of things that you do that you throw into your practices. Why don't we go through those real quick? You're talking first and foremost here.
Yeah, infield in. I mean, you got to practice it. It comes up in games. You got to, choke off a run late in the game, and boom. I even got a more deal where I put 5 infielders in there sometimes, and if you don't practice it, you can't put it in the game because they'll fail.
Isn't it why you need kind of a crazy guy at third base? Because you get your teeth kicked in.
Right.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yeah, you're right. But squeeze plays, you got to talk about that, and pitching when you pitch out, and I like to squeeze. I mean, there's everybody knows that.
No mystery there, right?
No.
Can you stop me though?
Yeah, that's it. If we execute, that works. Yeah. First and thirds, you can steal runs that way. That's both an offensive and a defensive drill, but you got to make sure your catcher's arms are good. Sometimes early they're ragging a little bit because we are, they're throwing an awful lot. Mm-hmm. But you got to limit their throws, but you still got to go through it. Situations, I do that quite a bit. One thing I learned years ago was when I do situations, I don't hit them. I have one of my assistant coaches hit them. I go stand out behind second base. That way I can communicate a lot better with my outfielders and my infielders. The only people I really have a hard time communicating with is the catchers and the coach. If I'm pointing, I want it to hit to that person right now. I got to do something like that but I like being out there because you're interactive, and a kid boots one, whatever, you're right there. You can try, pick them up a little bit, or if we're doing first and thirds, we're not in the right positions, and turning a double play. Should you flip that? Should you throw it? Should you spin and throw it? What's the best play there? Hey, left fielder, you could look great right there if you were backing up third base because the ball got overthrown, but you weren't just out there watching. I mean, those are situations. I'm out there as a coach, and I can interact with those guys, and I think it helps.
Yeah.
Oppo days, swinging, these are swinging things. Oppo days, middle days, free swinging days. I mean, you concentrate on something and maybe say we had a little competition in there and say, if you go up the middle, you get free swings. Mm-hmm. So if you get 8 swings and you hit it up the middle 7 times, you're going to get 7 more swings.
Right.
And then those are theirs. But there's all kinds of things that we can do.
I love your groups here with your batting practice. I mean, you put a ton of stuff in here. Yeah,
I feel like if we keep moving, we're going to be better. I mean, and there's not, I just can't stand standing around. If we're just standing around doing nothing, I got a problem. That's where I have a problem with POs, but I got a Coach Heron right now who pitched for the White Sox a little bit. And I said, just keep those guys away from me, please. Because I can't stand it. I mean, there's always something you can do and be doing and hustling and I mean,
go run.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If I'm mad at them, that's what'll happen.
You know what? Go do some, they could go on and do some soft toss, right?
Yeah.
You got this here. You got your cage, your focus every day, your oppo, middle, pull, bunts on deck. Do some soft toss with the guys.
That's another thing group, too, right? Where I'm spoiled, where I have extra coaches that if you got a coach down there supervising, it goes so much better. Because if the coach is not around, and say I'm throwing BP, which I probably do every other day, so I'm not around, but those stations we got going, if you have a coach there, they're more likely to concentrate more and get it done more.
Do you look for, when you're talking about this, do you look for seniors to take that role that hopefully, if you don't have a coach down there, and for smaller schools, and we've talked about this, that don't have the extra guys, you need those seniors that are going to make sure guys aren't goofing as much and making that happen, right?
Yeah, I used to have captains, and I stopped it probably 10 years ago. It just got to be too much of a mess. I think that your captains kind of come to the forefront on their own. You know who the leaders are. And like there's many times where we as coaches know who that person is.
Right.
But then you got to get it out of them. They have to police themselves. They have to take charge. They need to tell people what to do, and don't be afraid to tell people what to do. I mean, that's you pull a kid off the side. Hey, man, we need you to pick it up. I mean, it's your team. You're our best player. You need to be the guy that everybody looks to, and you need to set the example.
Yeah.
You need to be carrying the bucket. You need to be picking up screens. You need to be doing all this stuff. Lead by example.
I like here, if coaches, POs, or injured player fungo ground balls and fly balls in between pitches. What is that about?
That's an art. When I'm not throwing BP, I'm pretty good at it. But it's just like you watch major league guys, practice during BP. There's always guys fun going on the outside. That's what we're doing right there. We're getting more reps in. It's got to be good timing. Good timing. I mean, the pitch is thrown, the ball is hit. The ball's hit to right field. Boom! I got a ground ball to third baseman.
So they have to understand what's going on as well and being prepared for this.
Yes. I'm pretty good about it. When I do it is I'll say, okay, hey KP, I got you at third base, and I'm gonna be just hitting him ground balls. Next batter, I'll go move over to the shortstop and say, okay, me and you, and just boom, 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 And sometimes the POs will be one of those guys will be catching in for me. Most time they're not.
It keeps guys focused in the practice, doesn't it?
Yeah, and more reps. I think the more reps you get, the better you're going to be. I mean, there's a couple of times I got stuck where I needed a right fielder. Everybody else got hurt or something was on, and kid wasn't performing, so I'd throw a catcher back there. And that whole BP session for 2 days in a row, I just hit that person fly balls in right field the whole time, just to see the ball off the bat. And I just think that's a good thing. The more stuff you can get done and accomplish in a short amount of time, it's good stuff.
I see. And here's the thing, and I understand maybe as a young coach, whatnot, you're seeing this, but I love the stressing hustle to each station, the standing around. You've brought that. If you keeping the kids moving, keep them moving through. If time go around again, play, no pop. I got to understand no pop, no slop game.
I don't know where I got that. I probably stole it from somebody, but it's just, a lot of times we're just doing BP and it's gone crisply. My arm's feeling good or whatever. Like, we're going to do no pop, no slop. They get in the line, they hit. If they swing and put a good swing on the ball, it's a line drive, or even it's a hard ground ball, or something with length in the gap, or, they stay in, they take another swing. So the goal is to, have the most times in a row, most line drives in the hole. Middle line drive, for sure you're in. You stay in. Yeah. It's like, okay, he's got 5. That's the record now. Who's going to get him? The next guy gets up, A lot of, I would say a ton of them, though, it's one pitch, they're gone. It's a foul ball, or you pop up, or, you're
Can
gone.
you be consistent?
Me?
No, the kids.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking that consistent. good putting good
Right.
swings.
I've had a lot of better hitters that could go up the middle a lot, pretty easily, and then they'll try and jerk one out. And why'd you do that? I was getting bored. Trying to do something
I just want to hit a home run, Coach.
That's
Come on.
fine.
Chicks dig the long ball. Come on.
Let's stay with that first 6 or 7 swings up the middle, all right?
And the last thing here we're talking is conditioning, and this is always the fun, the stuff that everybody doesn't like, right?
Yeah, but you can make it fun. I mean, a lot of those things that I've listed there are base running drills.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can incorporate that into a conditioning drill, you're getting some things done. The 5-station base running is where you got everybody's at a base, and the catcher's there, and also you have an on deck guy, and so the 3 guys are all moving up 2 bases, and then the guy on deck has got to run up and coach the guy tagging up coming to third. Because that's a skill that sometimes gets ignored. It's like, on deck, where you at, man? Why aren't you up there coaching him up? You need to hit it. You need to slide this way and slide that way. So I like that drill. I mean, I think just because that incorporates the coaching aspect of it.
Right.
And you can just run the bases. There's a whole series there about how to run the bases and just little things you got to do, breaking down after you get to first base, right head turn, looking for a wild pitch that you can move up, playing on your right foot and go to second base, seeing the bunt down, the secondaries, shuffle, 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 go. It's a rhythm thing, it's just same thing for delayed steal. There's all kinds of drills that you can do, but at the same time, you're repping things that are going to happen in the game.
And it keeps them moving. You get your conditioning in, and it's not just running poles.
Yeah, yeah. Poles, bows and arrows.
I love this. Poles, bows. What is bows and arrows, Coach?
You start off in the left field corner. You walk to center field. You jog to the foul pole. You touch the foul pole. You sprint from foul pole to foul pole. That's one.
Oh, my goodness.
It was okay until Case Munson, who played at Mizzou, pushed off the foul pole and dislocated his shoulder right before postseason. It happened quite a bit, but I was like, maybe we should stop this drill.
Oh my goodness.
I wish I was better at yoga. I've been doing that myself. I mean, I'm not a very good teacher of it, but I plug it in on Netflix or YouTube and do it. And I think that's good. I think it's just stretching and stuff like that.
Right.
Plyometrics, build-ups. I'll stand out there maybe 10 yards. And maybe have lines, 5 lines maybe, and they're split in half. Mm-hmm. And then they'll sprint, and then the next guy will come back. And then I gradually get longer, and then I come back in. That's what build-ups are. 60s, I mean, that's what it is. I don't know why 60 is a baseball number, because it should be a 90. It's 90-foot bases. I don't know why 60 is the number. I just don't get it. But that's the number they look for when they're recruiting, so you got to practice it.
It's that 60-yard dash, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Distance run, get to know your field. What is that about, Coach?
Oh, you got to know where there might be some gaps in the grass or holes, or where's the sprinkler head? I mean, you got to know them. What's your distance? How is it 320? Is it 330? Okay, where am I going to play defensively in the outfield, and just knowing the field and where you're going to be at, and put yourself in best position to get to a baseball.
I know what an Indian run is.
Mm-hmm. It was snowing one time. We did an Indian run. They had snowball fights. It was awesome. Indian run, it just ended up being a snowball fight. I said, well, they're running.
I always like the bear crawls and the crabs, because it's always about
That's
your
tough.
core.
That's tough.
And you got that diving plane. You got to pop to your feet and make a throw or something. I mean, it helps, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, I don't do it a whole bunch. It is hard. If I'm mad at them, I'll do that one. We have a change in the practice plan today, boys.
And I think all these things are neat, because as a young coach, you may forget to talk to your players. Do you have a list of things? You may forget to talk about this or whatnot. And I love just that get to know your field, your own home field. But when you go to somebody else's place, is there a hole in the outfield or something? Is there? Do you know where you're playing?
This is a great story. Kansas City Rapec was in our Midwest Classic, and guys were great coaches. I still love them to death. And they showed up at our field, and it was raining. It was muddy. We were really scrambling to get the field ready to go. And we eventually did, but they showed up. I said, I was talking to them on the phone. I said, it's going to take us, 2, 3, 4 hours to get it going here. And so they came off the bus, walked around, got back on the bus. And the assistant coach said on the bus, he goes, "Are you guys ready to play?" Yeah. And so he started asking questions about the field. They were on the bus, on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the yardage down the line? What's the yardage center field? What's the yardage left field? How far is the backstop from home plate? And he had all these questions for them. Said, you guys weren't prepared to play because you don't know your field.
Perfect. Who thinks about that, right? And at each level, that's a thought process, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff.
Yep.
That's good stuff. All right. Segment number 3 down in the books. The season is rolling. We got one more segment with Coach. And please, if you like what we're doing, hit that like button, please. Like button. Yeah, hit the like button too. Smash it. Right? There you go. Subscribe. Hit the dinger, because that's what we do around here. We hit dingers. And come back for some more. We got some more coming with Coach. We appreciate y'all joining with us today. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes. And you hitters, hit them where they ain't. We'll see you next time.